AI agents are one of the best ways to take advantage of AI. They could help you automate a lot of tasks. And one of the best tools for AI agents is called n8n. n8n is an open source AI native workflow tool. And it's been going viral lately because it lets you build pretty complex AI automations with no coding required. And it has a really nice, easy visual drag and drop interface. So it makes it really easy for anyone to jump in and build AI automations. So in this video, we're going to build an AI agent completely from scratch. So if you are brand new to building these agents or you need a refresher, this is going to be the right video for you. And I'm going to build one specifically to handle incoming emails with a lot of different steps to automate the response using AI. And I'll show you exactly how to do that with every step of the way explained in detail. First, let's understand what n8n is. This is an open source alternative to tools like Zapier and Make.com, which I've covered in different videos. But the difference is this was built with AI in mind first. Those other tools later had to implement AI. They've been around for much longer. But the key to n8n is you could actually self-host it, which I'll talk about in a bit, or you could use their website at n8n.io, which I will also show you. Now, this will automate all kinds of different workflows. So sales, marketing, support, design, email automation, all that could be automated and AI could be implemented in every step of the way too. And they have over 1,000 pre-made workflows available. So if you're new, you could just use one of those workflows and not have to build it from scratch. But I'm going to show you how to actually build one from scratch so you get a good understanding on how they work. Okay, so for the next step, let's go ahead and set up our n8n environment because you have two different options. So the first one I'll show you right here, this is n8n.io, and I'll link everything in the description below. This will allow you to actually use their website, and plans start at $20 a month. So this is one way to use it. The second option you have, as I mentioned, this is open source, which means you could self-host it. But that does require a pretty good technical background in order to be able to totally self-host it that way. And there's another option called a VPS or virtual private server. Now this is going to be private and one of the most affordable ways to do this. And that's what I'm going to focus on, because if you're looking for a way to run n8n privately and in the most cost-effective way without paying for the hosted version on their website, Howfinity is actually the company that makes the process really simple, and it's what I'm going to use for the rest of this tutorial. And one of the main reasons is they actually have a one-click installation of n8n with their VPS hosting plan, which makes launching your own instance in just a few minutes really easy. And this way you get full control. You can set up things exactly how you want, and most importantly, you get to keep your data private. And there's also a huge cost benefit here. So running n8n on Howfinity, which I'm about to show you, is actually up to 70% cheaper than if you use the official n8n website. So I'll put a link in the description to this page. Right now, they're actually running an early Black Friday sale where you get 64% off n8n when you self-host it. Now, they also give me another discount code that I'll mention in a second. And if you're watching this later, check the description. I will update the text and the links there with the best discount I have available. Now, the plan I recommend that you choose right here is called KVM2. This is the plan that I recommend you use for n8n installation. And the reason why I choose this plan, this is perfect for daily automations. It's powerful enough to handle multiple workflows running at the same time without any hiccups. So I'll go ahead and choose this plan right here. And I've set this up for the 2-year plan. And over here where it says I have a coupon, I actually have a coupon that I'll put in the description, Howfinity n8n. And if you apply this, you get an additional 10% off this plan right here. So this took off an additional 10%. That's on top of the discount that they're running right now. Okay, now let's actually set up our n8n account on the Howfinity VPS. And the way you do that is once you log into your Howfinity account and you have it set up, there is a VPS tab right here on the left side. And right here, I have one that I just bought. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up right now. Now it's going to ask you to choose a server location. You want to pick one nearest to you, which I auto-detected for me. So I'm just going to press next here. Okay, now on this page, just type in n8n in the search bar here. And this is the application that we're going to want. So go ahead and click on that and then select it here. Now, this is a private virtual server, so it's going to ask you to create a password for yourself. This is going to be the password that you'll need to log in. So go ahead and type in a password here, and I'm going to press finish setup right over here. Now, this is gonna take a couple minutes here to set up your virtual private server for you. Okay, so mine is already here, so I'm gonna press Manage App from this page. And then it's gonna bring us to n8n, our self-hosted version of it on hosting your virtual private server. And we'll go ahead and set this up with our information, and I'll press Next. Answer this question to customize n8n and get started. And I'm gonna get my free activation key so I could unlock everything. And if you click on the little pop-up here, it's gonna bring you to this page and you wanna enter your activation key here. Okay, now everything is set up. So now we're gonna start creating what are called workflows. Now, workflows are automations and they turn into AI agents when you actually have the AI components to take care of different things for you autonomously. So I'm gonna show you that. The first thing we wanna do up here is we're gonna go ahead and create a workflow on the home page. And every time you create a workflow, this is what you're going to see, unless you choose one of the templates that has the pieces already laid out for you. But I wanna show you how to build it from scratch, because then it becomes really obvious what's happening. And then when you do pick your workflows or templates, it's more apparent what you need to change. So the first thing I want to do is I want to click over here. These things right here are called nodes. And you need one to start this automation. You always need one to start. And that's the first step. So I'm going to click it. And the starter node here is going to have some options. So what exactly causes this automation to start, right? There is one where it triggers manually. So you have to press a button and it starts going to work. And there's all kinds of other ones. Like for example, you could schedule one. So this runs every few hours or every few days. You could set that up. It could be one based on a chat. So if it starts as a chat bot, maybe the first initial message starts that. Okay. So this time though, I'm going to choose Gmail because you could actually choose any type of action to be your very first step. So Gmail, if I choose it, it's going to show me a trigger. This is the only option that is a trigger. There's all these other actions that we're going to talk about. That happens after the trigger. The trigger is going to say when I receive a message to my Gmail. So I'm going to select that. Now it's going to ask you your credentials for your Gmail. Obviously, we have to give it access to that, so it could look into that. Now, depending on if you're using the n8n website or the hosting website, this step is going to be a little bit different. So if you do use the self-hosted version, they have a doc right here, and it tells you exactly how to set things up, like the Google authentication here. And I actually followed a video they had, really easy to use. It's about a 4-minute video, shows you exactly how to do it. This is something you just need to do one time to give Google access for things like Gmail, Google Sheets, Google Drive, Google Calendar. So mine's set up. I got to sign in with Google, so I'll do that next. And I logged into my account and everything worked exactly right following that authentication video. Okay, so back to this trigger here. I'm gonna choose my account that I authenticated just now. And I'm just gonna go ahead and fetch a test to make sure it does get my emails. And yeah, it just pulled in an email here. So this is all set up now. I could just click away on top and it'll bring me back to this page, and you see you get a little check mark here that this is working right. So right now I have my trigger set up. I have authenticated all my Google products and I've tested my connection. So everything is working right. Now let's go to the next step. So each email is gonna come into this inbox, and I've dedicated this inbox to do exactly this job. Now you could get more complicated. You could add labels and you could add folders and things like that inside of your Gmail to only look at certain things inside of your Gmail. But just to keep it simple and beginner friendly, let's just create a Gmail account that is dedicated to take care of this job. So let's say a support ticket goes to this Gmail account. So next, I'm gonna actually add another node. So every time you press the plus sign, you're adding what are called nodes here. So what happens next? And you could, again, choose from a number of things. But since we set up a trigger, our second node is usually something else, right? What happens after that trigger? And this is where the AI and the automation part with AI comes in, making it more of an AI agent. So I'm gonna actually add one called OpenAI node. Now, this is same as ChatGPT. If you're not too technical, ChatGPT is the website where you use those type of models. OpenAI is the company that owns ChatGPT. So if you select it, it's gonna actually let you do a lot of different things, including choosing a model to respond to you. Now, what I wanna do here is I wanna send a message to one of the OpenAI models. So I'm gonna choose this one right here. And that's typically what you wanna do. But if you look in text, they're describing to you what kind of things can happen. So uploading a file could happen, analyzing an image, generating an image. You could also build these things called assistant that, again, gets a little bit more advanced. on the OpenAI side. But right now, we just want to message one of these models. And then you're going to get this drop down. So we still need to create credentials. This time we need to actually go to OpenAI and create that. And that one's really easy. It just requires an API key from OpenAI. So let me show you that page, because you'll typically use one of these type of AI models. It doesn't have to be from OpenAI. Google has their own, Claude has their own. There are different companies, but for the simplest one, OpenAI is the one I'm going to use. And the website for that is called platform.openai.com. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and log in, or you could go ahead and sign up. Now, this is not your ChatGPT account. This is different. Okay, this is gonna be an API key. This is how you could call those models with your own type of automations. So I'm gonna go ahead and log into mine. And once you log in, you just wanna go to dashboard. And under dashboard, you'll see API keys on the left side here. And here you just want to create a new secret key. Again, don't share this with anyone. They could use your credits. And you'll also need to add a credit card to OpenAI. This is totally separate from n8n, hosting here, all that. This is when you use OpenAI's AI models, it will charge you based on usage. Okay, and they do have a pricing doc here, but again, it could be pennies a day typically for most use cases. Now, once you create the key, copy it from here, and we'll go back and paste it over here, and everything else could be set exactly as is, and you just press save on top. Okay, connection successful there. Now we have connected our OpenAI account. So the resource is gonna be text, and then it says message a model. So we're gonna choose to message a model, and then it's gonna give us a list of models to choose from. Now, OpenAI releases new models all the time inside of here and inside of ChatGPT. One of the best ones that are available right now as I'm recording this is called GPT-5 Mini. It's inexpensive, but it's also very fast and it's very good. The best one though is usually this one, GPT-5 Chat Latest, but it's gonna be a little bit more expensive here and a little bit slower. So I'm gonna choose the mini model for what I'm doing. They have one called Nano too, which is smaller. So a lot of different models. You could actually just open ChatGPT and ask it which one you should use for your application, and it will give you some recommendations. Okay, the next part here, you have something called fixed and you have something called expression. Okay, and I want to explain what this is. If you have it set to fixed, it's going to be something that's going to repeat every time exactly the same. If you have it set to expressions, you could actually choose from something that's a variable, something that changes every time. So in this case, this snippet, so that's what's on my email here, that's gonna change every single time, right? That's the body of the email. So I could drag this into this box right here, and that becomes the prompt over here. And then I could have this set to the role of a user. I'm gonna explain the system one in a second, right? So it's going to be able to see the body, and that's pretty much it. The expression is usually what you wanna choose, because it's gonna change based on what your trigger was, right? In this case, a different email, a different calendar invite, whatever the case is for your first trigger, a different chat message. So if I test this step right here, you could see my AI assistant say, got a test receive, how can I help you next, right? So it went to work automatically. And if I click away, this is exactly what's happened now. I got a Gmail email that came in, and he sent it to an OpenAI model, and he responded. Now, this is to some extent an AI automation. I wanted to show you this first because now I want to show you what the agent could do. So let me just select this. And again, you could build on top of this, but I'm going to select this and delete it because I want to show you what an AI agent does that's different than just an AI workflow, which is what I showed you just now. If I press the plus sign, instead of choosing AI, I'm going to type in AI agent. And let me select this. And let me just click away for a second. This AI agent looks a little bit different, right? Why? Well, you still could choose a chat model, but now you have memory and you still have tools. So you could add tools to this model to be able to do more things. And it could be many, many different tools. And then you could still build the workflow here to the right. So let me double click it to show you what an AI agent could do. So instead of a trigger chat, if you use a trigger chat, that's a different trigger than what I had here. My trigger, remember, was Gmail receiving an email. But sometimes you could choose a trigger chat, which is when you type in a chat, it starts this automation or this AI agent. I'm gonna say define below, okay? So it says a user prompt. I'm gonna, again, choose it to expression because I wanna choose the body of it. So I'm gonna bring the snippet over here again, right? And I'm gonna actually select the option down here because I wanna set a system message. I want it to know exactly how it should behave when it reads this message. Now I have to do a few more things, but in the order that I'm walking you through, this is typically how you set up an agent. First, you either decide how it's starting out, usually defined below, unless your very beginning trigger was a chat. And then right here, you drag something from your trigger. In this case, it could be the subject line, it could be a label, it could be the body. The body usually makes more sense if the email is what's starting this automation. The system prompt here, you wanted to tell it exactly what you want it to do. In this case, I wanted to find out if an email is urgent for customer service so I could message them instantly to make sure they got it, because this email is actually going to somewhere else, not to customer service. Okay, then I could go to just ChatGPT to get a system prompt. If you are new to system prompting, that's when you tell the AI how to behave. Something that most of us don't do if we're just talking to ChatGPT. So I said, write a system prompt to find out if an email I'm getting is urgent based on the body of the email, right? And it's gonna write something like this, and it's basically reading the email and it's trying to figure out if something needs immediate attention, and it's gonna kind of give me different outputs, okay? And then again, you could flush this out, but this gives you a nice template you could copy and paste. We'll bring it back into the system prompt and I'll replace this whole section. Okay, now we know an email is coming in, you could see the body and it has a system prompt. Down here, we got to do a few things. First, we give it a chat model. So same thing that happened before, but now you could see all kinds of different models are available. It doesn't have to be from OpenAI. In this case, we already set up OpenAI, so I will choose an OpenAI model, and it's telling me to use 4.1 mini, but I want to use 5 mini in this case. So I'll choose 5.0 mini. Okay, so we got that set up. I'm gonna click away. So you could see it's added an AI model, and you could always switch this out with different AI models at any time, and it could be from different companies, not just OpenAI. Then I also give it memory. This makes it an agent here. The regular AI workflow didn't even have that option. And we're gonna choose just a simple memory here, and it's gonna have this context window length. How many chats is it going to remember? How many back and forth conversation? And I usually like to raise this to something like 20 for a customer service type of a thing. But by default, sometimes the 5 is enough. Maybe in this case, even the 5 is enough, but it doesn't hurt to raise it a little bit more. Okay, so now we got ourselves simple memory, we got ourselves an AI model, and I could also give it different tools, right? What I want to happen next here could be added as part of what this agent does. So in this case, let me choose Gmail again because I want to show you some other things that can happen. An operation here, I don't want it to send anything, right? In this case, I wanted to add a label to it, okay? So I could go ahead and choose a message ID and a label name. Now, again, I could get that from my Gmail trigger here. So if you look through these are gonna line up with what it's asking you for. So you can see this message has an ID. So I could bring it over here and then that is gonna use that as an ID. Now label name is gonna pull that directly from your Gmail here. So I'm gonna choose one of those. And this one is set to expression because I dragged it from the left side, and this time is set to fixed because I chose it from the dropdown and not from the expression. And I'm gonna go ahead and check this step. And now this tool is gonna add a label to an incoming email to that mailbox for me. Okay, now let's go back to this AI agent and let's go ahead and test this. And we made a mistake here with simple memory. So I forgot to add something. And I actually forgot to add define below here because we didn't use a chat trigger. And I did not add a key here because I wanted to show you what happens when you get these type of errors, because they will come up. So what you could do is take a screenshot and just give it to ChatGPT to explain it to you. This is actually how I learned using n8n, and it tells you exactly what to put there. So I could just choose option 2 here. So I'll just copy this code and I'll bring it back. And there we go. This is the code. So it's using thread ID, which is this right here. And another way I could have done it is I just read what ChatGPT said and drag that over here. And as long as it's green, it's working. Okay. So now my simple memory should be good. So if I go back to my AI agent and run this again, I shouldn't get that error. So that's one way you deal with errors as you build out these AI agents. And I could see right here, it says this message is low priority. The message is just a brief test with no request. So I'm gonna send myself now an urgent email to see how it's gonna treat that email. Okay, so let me go back to the Gmail trigger this time, and we're gonna fetch a new test because I just sent myself a new email. So we'll go ahead and fetch that one. Okay, this is the one. I need to cancel my account ASAP. So it got that email. And we're gonna go to the AI agent here, and I'm gonna check that one, execute step. And right here, output, urgent. This sender needs to cancel their account ASAP, indicating immediate action is required. So everything is working exactly as intended. Okay, by the way, I forgot to mention, make sure you save right here to save your workflow every once in a while. So make sure it's set to save and it will have revision history. Okay, now I'm gonna actually go ahead and set up one more as a workflow. So the agent has the pieces I need, but let's say I wanna actually send my team a message on Slack, or let's say I wanna send an email to my team here. So I'll choose this one here. I'm just gonna say send email, and we'll choose this option right here. And again, everything is set up, but this time, instead of choosing expression, which is gonna reply to the email that came in, I wanna send my teammate an email. So I'll use a different email here. I'm gonna call this urgent support, okay? And my message is actually not going to be fixed. It's gonna be an expression. And again, I could choose it from what's showing up on the left. Nothing is showing up because I actually didn't run a workflow. So I'm gonna go ahead and execute a previous note so information flies in from my test. Okay, and now we got the AI agent's output, which is analyzed what came in. It gave us an output, and I'm gonna put this as the message, okay? And now if I execute this step, it will go ahead and send a message here to my team that something requires an agent output. Now I could also choose something like the from sender and add that over here. And this way it will have the output from the AI and it will have the sender's name here too. And now if I click away from everything, you see a trigger started our AI workflow here. An AI agent came in that had access to an AI model, that had access to memory, especially when you use a chat node in the beginning, that comes in really handy, was able to take actions. And then the workflow then continued. And now let me go ahead and actually run another one. I sent myself another test email. So a brand new email did come into my inbox. So if I click on this, you could see it goes here, fetches that email. The AI agent goes to work. It goes to that model. The system prompt kicks in and it will send that email eventually here with a check mark, and everything worked exactly according to plan. And once you're happy with everything, the very last step is right now is set to inactive. So we're just doing some testing, but when you're happy with it, you could just activate it right over here. And this workflow is now going to be activated. So it's gonna check regularly and go through this sequence here. Anytime you could go ahead and turn it off here if you don't want to use it at all. And all your workflows will be available here on this personal tab right here. So you'll see all of them. I have a new account here, but they could all be turned on and off over here. And you could add more credentials over here as you give access to other things. And you could always start a new workflow from this page. So the chat one that I mentioned right here, where it says triggered from a message on chat message, this is a very common one. So you will basically set something up like this, and you could add fields right here. So response mode. So if I set this up like this and I click away, it will just be set up this way. So when someone talks to a chatbot that you could add somewhere on your website, it will actually start this, and then you add the AI agent as the next step. So your trigger becomes a chat node instead of a tool like Calendar or Gmail or Google Sheets, and then you could set up the rest of the AI agent and automation that way. And under the n8n website, under templates, they actually have for AI a ton of different workflow use cases. So these AI automations or AI agents, you could see how they're built. So if you click on any one of them, you could go ahead and explore it right here, and you could see exactly how it's built out with different models, and you could use it typically for free. They do have some paid templates. And again, they could be simple or they could get pretty advanced. Some of these can have many different steps to them like this, but they usually add notes here on these templates to show you exactly how they work too. So you could see what's possible with these AI agents inside of n8n. I showed you a simple one that could really scale up and have really complicated tasks. So I recommend you check out some of these use cases and workflows to get other ideas. And when you combine this with the virtual private server from Hosting Air, it gives you a really powerful and a private way to run these in a very affordable way. And you could just build these for all kinds of use cases and have full control over your workflow with AI agents. Again, everything is linked in the description. If you want to dive deeper in the description, I'll put other resources for you to learn more about AI agents as well. Thanks so much for watching this video. I'll catch you on the next one.